The novel, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, by Mark Twain has accumulated a plethora of accusations based on the biased sentiments expressed by characters within the book. Often his work falls victim to censorship within our current education system, due to the public's misconceptions pertaining to whether or not the attitudes of his characters are reflective of his own. It is not uncommon knowledge that literature provides an author with a vessel for which to share his or her thoughts concerning ethics, politics, economics, etc. However, the racist attitudes expressed by the characters within this book, as well as the racial dynamics illustrated within it, i.e. slavery, or in example slavery, is poor grounds to condemn the character of the author, Twain, or accuse him of promoting racism through his literature. Twain was exposed to the cruel treatment of slaves in his early childhood. So, Twain, using his writing, attempted to assuage the guilt of the injustice inflicted by his own race by donating to various African American charities. He even once quoted, "I do not believe I would very cheerfully help a white student who would ask a benevolence of a stranger, but I do not feel so about the other color. We have ground the manhood out of them, and the shame is ours, not theirs, and we should pay for it." By taking responsibility for the oppression perpetuated throughout white history, Twain showed an awareness of the shamefully racist foundations from which his privilege derived. With that said, I pose one question to you. What would be a reasonable explanation for a man against racism to publish works which promote exactly what he is against? Historically, the term nigger was coined in order to categorize any colored person who lived in America during the 19th century. While its use in present day is generalized as biased and highly offensive, this was not so during the period of time when the book was written. Just as one may have referred to their fellow Caucasian as white, nigger was a term widely used to describe people of color. While the term nigger does derive from uneducated, it still remained an accurate description of a majority of the colored American citizens. This was due to the lack of education available for the colored people since they were in slavery, due to the systematic effects of racial oppression condoned by the white citizens of America. It is possible that the word may have, over time, eroded its past context, and became, in Twain's time, used solely to categorize one race from the other. This is seen in Twain's description of a colored character in the book. This nigger had a good-natured, chuckle-headed face, and his wool was all tied up in little bunches with thread. Twain 347. Twain uses the term nigger to identify and then illustrates the features of this individual in the book as he would any other character. Twain is not using this term in order to degrade or demean, but to classify. This term surfaces in Jim's dialogue as well. "Yes, you know that one-leg nigger that belongs to old Misto Bradish? Well, he sawed up a bank, and say anybody that put in $1 would get $4 more at the end the year." Twain 74. Jim's use of the word further disproves the argument that it was applied to the book with racist intent due to its use within both races, or use by both races. Therefore, Mark Twain was writing based on the acceptable language of his time. It would be very ignorant to condemn an author's language of around 2 centuries ago based on the ethical standards of today. Questions for Huckleberry Finn. Mr. Finn, can you please describe your relationship with the character Jim? Mr. Finn, what motivated you to overcome the guilt of allowing a slave to go free in order to save Jim? Why do you feel that Jim deserved the right to freedom? Mr. Finn, in the book you once stated, "All right, I'll go to hell then." Can you please explain the context of the situation that you were in which resulted in this statement? Or which caused this statement to be said by you? Can you please elaborate upon the religious and social attitudes in your town towards showing empathy for a slave? Questions for witness teacher. What is the general reaction to the book by students? In your experience, have students who has shown more concern over this book, students or parents? What arguments do these parents provide that show an understanding of the book and how it promotes racism? What do you believe the benefits are for having this book in your curriculum? What are your opinions about the book in question?